Good evening. My name is Lila Garza. I am the library coordinator from Tolleson Public Library. And this evening, I would like to do some stargazing with you. There will be no fireworks this July 4th, which means that there may be less smoke and haze in the sky. It might be a good weekend to look into the sky and learn a little bit about constellations. Constellations are imaginary shapes that we draw using stars in the sky. People have been drawing these imaginary shapes and coming up with stories about them for hundreds of years. Last week in our activity kit for kids, as part of the summer reading program, we gave out some printed star maps and some glow-in-the-dark constellation cards. Tonight, I would like to show you some of the constellations in the sky that might be easy to find in the summer. So right now I'm facing north from the Tolleson Library. If you can't find north, ask a grown-up. I'm sure that they could help you. This sky simulation is set to be at around 9 o'clock at night. So right when there is enough light in the sky to start being able to see bright stars, because most of the light by this point has gone. So the first thing we want to find is this low kind of W, low in the sky. That W shape is a constellation called Cassiopeia. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a bright star at the very tip of the W, and we are going to draw an imaginary line all the way over to this very, very, very bright star here called Deneb. Deneb is over 1,000 light years away. So how we talk about distance in space is how long does it take light to travel to where we can see it. So a light year means that it takes that long for the light to travel to our eye, where we can see it. So the light from this star Deneb was made over 1,000 years ago. That bright star Deneb is the tail of a constellation called Cygnus, which is supposed to look like a swan. And here you see a nice artistic rendering of that. Nice long body and very, very long wings spread out that make it look like it is flying through the summer sky. Cygnus is Latin for swan. This constellation is also called the Northern Cross because it makes kind of a cross shape. Now, if we crane our neck further up into the sky and we go from the tip of the wing of Cygnus the swan over to this other bright star to the right called Vega. Vega is much, much closer. Vega is only about 25 light years away, so much closer than over 1,000 light years. Vega is found in the constellation Lyra. And the Greeks called that constellation Lyra because they thought that the body of it looked a little bit like a small harp, which they called a lyre. Now, if we go back to the head of Cygnus the swan, and we look to the right, we'll see two stars above and below each other. And if we continue that line down, we'll see a very, very bright star called Altair. Altair is even closer than Vega. Altair is only about 16 light years away. So again, much, much closer than Deneb, which was over 1,000 light years away. Much closer. And Altair is the bright star in the constellation Aquila. And Aquila is Greek for eagle, Latin for eagle. And the story behind Aquila was the ancient Greeks made a story that this was the eagle of the Greek god Zeus. And what Aquila would do is carry around Zeus's thunderbolts in its mouth, so that when the Greek god Zeus became angry or needed to fight someone, Zeus would throw thunderbolts at them. And Aquila was the eagle that carried around those thunderbolts for the Greek god. So we see the neck here of the eagle with Altair in the center, the wings spread out, and the tail. And if we look at these three very, very bright stars and use them to orient ourselves, Altair in the eagle, Vega in the lyre, and Deneb in the swan, these three constellations, or these three stars, make something called the summer triangle. Now, if we go back to Aquila the eagle and we go to the end of the wing up here at the top, and we crane our necks high, 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 so that we're looking all the way up into the night sky, we see this very, very big kind of squashed geometric looking shape. And this is part of a constellation called Ophiuchus. And that was Greek for serpent bearer. And that figure was called Asclepius, who was a mythical healer. And he's carrying a snake. He's holding a snake. That's why he's called the serpent bearer. And the snake was an ancient Greek symbol for healing. The snake was a symbol for healing to the ancient Greeks. And he was a healer. Here we see this nice little triangle making the eye, the mouth, and the head of the snake. Another good way to find that constellation is to look at the moon. So again, it's going to be a full moon on July 4th. Might be a good way to try to orient yourself. So to the left of the moon, we'll see this big shape with that long kind of snake shape coming off of it. And to the right of the moon, so again, to the right of the moon, we can see the constellation Scorpius. Nice curvy scorpion there. Let me show you that. Scorpius to the right of the moon. To the left of the moon, this big constellation, Ophiuchus. I got a crane way up to see that one. It's a very, very big one. The serpent bearer, Ophiuchus. And to the left of Ophiuchus is Aquila the eagle, a little bit lower. Above Aquila, higher up, if we crane our neck, is that small constellation Lyra with that bright star Vega. Lyre, the harp. And just to the left and below the lyre is Cygnus. Cygnus the swan. That very, very bright tail star there, Deneb. And again, Cygnus is also called the Northern Cross. And these three very, very bright stars, one in Cygnus, one in Lyra, and one in Aquila, Altair, Vega, and Deneb, make the summer triangle. And the site that I'm using to show you this simulation is called Stellarium Web. It is available for free online. And what's very, very cool is that not only can you kind of put in your location and see what's going to be happening, but you can also move it so you can see the night sky changing as time goes on. So you can see how the constellations actually move across the sky. So if we are facing north, where we started with Cassiopeia, we see that later in the evening, Cassiopeia is higher up in the sky. We can change it so that we can see what constellations rise and fall as the night goes on. And a tool like this will also help you see what planets are visible in the sky as well, in case you ever want to try to locate those. So happy stargazing this weekend. Hope you have a wonderful July 4th weekend, and we hope to see you again soon.